like just a weekend. We wrapped up our first freaking week. Like, hallelujah. Anyway, we are about to embark on week freaking 2. It's kind of crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Some of you are like, nope, feels like a decade. All right, so so we have our week 1 weigh-in. Our week 1 weigh-in. See how you guys did, where you stacked up, how everybody did. So, all right, let me get over to your thingies here.
Carmen, 179.5.
This is Janine, 202.8.
Krista, 122.8.
234.9.
Kristen Teeter, 310.1.
Kayla, 144.6.
Okay, Melissa Hager, 218.
In first place, down 7.4 pounds, 4%. Paula, first place. Good job. In second place, down 8.8 pounds, 3.42%. Aisha, second place, mama. Second place. In third place, down 6.6 pounds, 3.21%. Jennifer Strickland, third place. Good job, Jennifer. It just still, I mean, like, listen, I don't know as if I would have had the strength to do what you're doing, Jennifer. Starting a weight loss journey while traveling on a mission trip, serving others, not being able to be in control of everything. Like, it is the middle of the night. And here she is on our freaking call. Like, it literally just gives me a new standard of what is possible. And it takes away any travel excuses I've ever had. I mean, what the frick ever. So thank you for inspiring me and for really setting that example of what commitment really looks like. And no cheats, whatever. Anyway, in fourth place, also down 6.6 pounds, 2.95%. Melissa, fourth place. In fifth place, down 4.6 pounds, 2.19%. Janine. Sixth place, down 7.2 pounds, 2.18%. Kristen, good job. In seventh place, down 4 pounds, 2.12%. Jen Ratchford. In eighth place, down 2.6 pounds, 2.01%. Crystal. In ninth place, down 3 pounds, 2%. So Kayla, that was 0.01% behind Crystal. Kayla is in ninth place. Congratulations. Like nipping at Crystal's behind. And in 10th place, Sarah. So, all right. And this is what I love. Like, where else can you go and lose 4 pounds in a week and be in 7th place on this show? So congratulations, everybody, on a amazing, successful week 1. And this one thing that we're going to talk about tonight, it's one of those things that we've all heard about, but what I can tell you is in 20 years of business and 8 years now in the weight loss industry, very few people actually do it. Very few people actually do this one thing we're going to talk about tonight. And that is your vision. That is your vision for where you're going. Your vision for who you are becoming. who you're becoming. And a phrase you're going to hear me say a lot, nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Because everything about who you're becoming has to be specific. Who are you becoming? What is your vision for your life? What is your vision more specifically for your health? If failure wasn't an option, if we weren't thinking about, yeah, but can I? Yeah, but I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, but my family, we're not small people. If we were taking all of the doubt, all of the fear, all of the past failure off of the table, and we were strictly talking to that inner dreamer inside of you, what would your body look like? What would your butt look like? What would your boobs look like? Because you can tell the doctor what you want them to look like and he will help you get them. Anyway, where will you shop? What will you wear? What will you wear to family photos next year? What will you wear when you renew your vows in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? What will you wear next year to family Christmas? When will you hit your goal? How will you celebrate? So when you look at like literally the specifics of who you're going to be, like where will you shop? What will your budget for clothes be when you get to your goal? What will you do with the clothes you're undergrowing? Because you're going to be undergrowing some clothes soon. Are you going to sell them and use that money to buy the next size? That's what I did. Do you know of a local place that you're passionate about, a local women's shelter that you want to go give clothes to? In my case, most homeless women were in a size 22, so that seemed kind of pointless. If a homeless chick has enough money to buy food to maintain a size 22, we have a problem. But so what are you going to do with those clothes when you undergrow them? Like literally, what is your vision for these? What is your vision for this week? How much weight is your goal to lose this week? A goal, you have a big goal, but then that breaks, which is your vision. Your big goal is your vision for your health, but then that gets broken up into micro visions, micro goals. So my goal every week was to lose a minimum of 2 pounds, and I mapped it out on my calendar. But then, I'm a little competitive sometimes. And, but then inside of me, I'd be like, okay, I'm in the 280s. How fast can I get to the 270s? Can I make it in 3 weeks? Like into the new decade. Then when I dropped into the 270s, 279.8. Then the next goal was, okay, now I need to get that's my low weight. Now I need to get my nighttime weight into the 270s. Okay, now I'm almost halfway. Could I get to halfway this week? So it was constantly keeping the carrot dangling in front of me. It was constantly keeping myself going, creating little visions that I could run towards every single week. And even now, and I got to tell you, when I find myself in a place of struggle, when I find myself in a place of a comfort zone or a place of just going in the wrong direction, I can tell you it always boils back down to a lack of vision. And I just had to really look at this over the holidays and say, Carmen, what's your vision? What's your vision right now? And that's the same question I asked myself. And for me, my vision looks a little bit differently. Like right now, my main vision when it comes to my health is equipping my kids with how to succeed, equipping my kids with good habits. So equipping my kids with good habits, how can I use that to help me and them? And vision, do you know something that vision takes? Having a vision takes faith. Because having faith is the ability, the definition of faith is the ability to see what the eyes can't see. The ability to see what your physical eyes cannot see. It takes faith. So think about that. If you're starting at a size 20 or a size 18, and your goal is even to get down, some of y'all, even a size 6 seems like you're being greedy. You're like, I'll settle for an 8 or a 10. I get it. I said the same thing. I had those same thoughts. I was trying to pick a goal and I was like, I've never been, the smallest I can ever be was a size 7 in the 7th grade. I wasn't one of those chicks that had kids and then gained weight. I was I've had a weight problem almost my whole life. I mean, from high school on, and I was an athlete, which helped me, look muscular. In high school, I didn't look like super heavy, but I wasn't one of the smaller girls ever. I was always one of the bigger athletes, if I'm being honest. And I always just said, oh, it's because I'm an athlete and I, da, 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 da. I actually told myself I could never be that small because I've got bigger muscles than all those other people. And then I can remember watching people lift more than me. I was big and I had these big muscles, and I was watching these little scrawny chicks lift more weights than me. And I was like, look at the size of her arm. Her arm's like a twig. How is she lifting that? And here was my big, muscular, fluffy arm. And she was lifting less. I was like, oh, reality check. And so what is your vision? And your vision takes faith. But do you know what stops your vision? Anyone know what stops your vision? You're like, we're all muted.
Fear of failure.
Well, yes, procrastination, but procrastination comes from a place. Procrastination is not the root. Fear of failure. Fear in general. Fear causes procrastination, whether it's fear of rejection, whether it's fear of failure, whether it's fear of the unknown, whether it's, whatever it is, fear is the root. We all fear different things, right? For some people that I've worked with, it's fear of being taken advantage of. People that had a bad circumstance happen when they were younger and they were targeted because of their beauty or whatever. Sometimes we'll have a fear of that happening again. So we justify putting on weight as if that's going to help it, because there's skinny people and fluffy people that have bad things happen every year, right? But it's fear of having something bad happen. But fear and faith cannot coexist, and we've got to pick one. We've got to pick one. We've got to pick if we're going to stand in faith or we're going to continue to walk in fear. Because it's one or the other. And you can't build a vision if you're afraid of repeating the past. You can't move forward if you're stuck behind you. Can't look forward. You can't go forward and back at the same time. And so your vision, now here's the thing with vision. So often I'll talk to somebody about vision, and it never fails whenever I'm working with somebody who's a believer or a Christian. They'll be like, yeah, Carmen, I've been praying for God to give me a vision. Okay, that's fantastic. What else are you doing? I'm praying every day. If you're somebody who does that, what follows the prayer is the action, the next freaking step, and trusting that that step is ordained by him in the right direction. Whether you saw a sign or heard a word or not, you take the step. You don't wait for him to tell you to step, you take the freaking step. And you go forward. Anyway, and so vision starts off really small. Vision starts off as a passing thought, as a what if, as something you saw when you were 5 or 6, or something you saw here or there, or a word that's been spoken over you, or the little deep desires inside of your heart some of you haven't told anybody about your biggest dreams because you're afraid you'll sound stupid, or what if you don't do it, then what? All those little tiny things are a part of your vision. But vision starts off small. And the only way it grows is by watering it, by feeding it, by starving the fear and feeding the vision. Starving the fear, feeding the vision. Because what happens if I have a rose garden, and here's what most people do. We have a rose garden and some weeds pop up. And we ignore the roses. We forget about the roses and we start complaining about the weeds. Oh, these freaking weeds. Do you see these weeds? Do you see these weeds? And unintentionally, we start watering the weeds. And we're wondering why the weeds keep getting bigger and the roses are dying. Because it's what we're watering. It's what we're talking about. It's what we're giving life to. And so what is your vision? And it's okay if it starts small. But the more you build it and the more time you invest into building it, you're never going to get a big blazing vision without investing time into it. But hear me, when you develop your vision and you know where you're going, there is no thing, there is no man, there is no shot of tequila, there is no freaking piece of cheese. There is no freaking cheeseburger. There is no popcorn. There is no chocolate candy bar. There is no nothing that will derail. There is no other man's opinion that will derail you when your vision is strong enough. And if you're struggling with these little things that don't matter, it's because you haven't worked on that vision yet. And that's okay. You're just starting. So your question for this week is the hardest thing you dealt with week 1 and how you overcame it.
Right. So me and my husband are like eating buddies. So I knew he was waiting for me to fail because I always did in the past. My pattern is eat healthy for 3 days and eat crazy with him for 4 days. And so when you said this weekend that going into battle, like I literally have a goal to mark off no cheats this whole time, because for me, this is a healing process. Like I don't want to binge eat no more. Like it's stolen 20 plus years of my life. And so we had a Christmas party this weekend, but I woke up super early the day of the Christmas party, like packing my things like a maniac, my little containers. But yeah, he like, it was just, he got really ugly, you know, just saying stuff in front of the kids or whatever. But literally when he left to work today, I just started breaking off all the negative thoughts that came with it, because making me feel bad, like I was doing something wrong. And then I kind of just reached out to the group, and somebody gave me some wisdom and said communication. And so he doesn't get home till like 8:30. So tonight I'm just going to try to communicate with him again in a loving way, because in order for me to stay strong in this journey, I want to attack him. I just want to go like, no, I'm doing this. I don't.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
So Jen, what was your hardest part of week 1 and how did you overcome it?
My hardest part of week 1 was going in and comparing my results to previous results. And then listening even to last week with you saying on a like 3-day refresh, sometimes you can lose 5 to 7 pounds, and knowing that I lost 3, and going for that 5. So that was probably my hardest, is after those 3 days and, you know, knowing, yes, this is going to be so good. And normally I would lose 5, and this week only losing 3, but comparing my journey to past journeys, if that makes sense. That was probably the hardest thing. But as far as overcoming it, it was staying focused on all of the little things in front of me. So watching the scale drop every day and not have one plateau, watching my number of staying with the program each day grow, and using that as a competition. And then just listening to, you know, all of the successes as well as the failures, even here in this group, and gaining my own win every single day. So that would be what mine were.
Kayla,
Yes. Am I here?
you're on.
Oh, thank you. Okay, great. My hardest thing that I had to deal with was the preparation for me. That was hard. And it was, I would feel intimidated when I would see a lot of the boxes prepped that ladies would have together in our polos. I thought, wait, I can do this. I can do this. And in something that you shared in one of your polos, Carmen, you talked about preparing. You gave us a good talk. It was a hard talk, but it's very good. So I told myself the positive side, I guess, the good that came out of that was I was like, no, I'm going to come home from the hospital and I'm going to go to bed early, turn in or, do my check-in at night and tell my family I'm done and we're going to bed, or I'm going to bed. So that I can be that much more ahead for the next day. So that was.
Well, the hardest thing for me was being down 4.25 pounds on Friday and then up 3 on Saturday and another one today or Sunday. whatever, in the last 2 days. So that was very frustrating, but, and the water, I am like, sorry, the water's killing me. Feel like I live in the bathroom. Bought and committed. Besides my chicken wing cheat, I didn't cheat anything else, and I committed to keeping that. It's just, yeah, the scale has definitely been the issue this week.
Hey, all right. So I can't believe no one said this yet. For me, it's been the workouts. Like they're kicking my ass. Like the first 3 days, like Jello legs. I couldn't sit on the toilet. I couldn't stand up. Thankfully, today, today's day 8 of, so 7 days of working out, and my legs are just barely sore now. So that's good. The soreness is starting to fade, but that has been, the toughest part for me, harder than the food and the preparation and all that is the workouts, and also my mindset around the workouts, because the first few days, of course, going through my head, I'm like, I just got to get this over with. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate cardio. I hate sweating, all these things. And I've had to change, my language, right? And so, and my husband's working out with me, and, we both have been saying these things, right? And I'm like, so today I was like, no, we got to switch this. I love working out. I love exercising my body. And just like you said, I don't really, like my mind doesn't really believe it, but I'm going to speak it. So, and I'm just going to keep saying it, through the pain and the sweat and everything. But yeah, so that's been my hardest part of the week is the workouts.
I'm right there with Janine. The working out thing, I'm like, for way too long, working out, that's dumb. You do work and you sweat when you do it, but working out is just stupid. I mean, I always looked at it like I will cause earthquakes in China as I'm working out. But I actually found, like, all of a sudden after one of Shanti's Let's Get Up videos, I'm like, wait, we're done. This was actually, did I have fun? No, don't tell anybody. But it was fun. And yeah, and it kept me motivated to keep doing it. Just because within that short amount of time, I can see an improvement in movement, just walking down the stairs in general. I was looking like an old lady walking, hobbling down the stairs, and the kids are like, you kind of like just zoom down those stairs. I'm like, yeah, y'all better watch out, because I'm going to be checking your rooms now all the time going up those stairs. So yeah, they're a little bit nervous, but that's good. Put the fear into them.
Hey, what's up? Okay, so the hardest thing for me to overcome was the weekend. And although it seemed like a huge stumbling block, because I was on track based on other seasons, based on my amazing mentor, based on learning how to do body fat percentage, I wanted to come out of the gate like first place, and I knew I needed to lose 8 to 9 pounds to have my best shot at that. And I was completely on track to do that. And I also was fearful of the weekend. So I was trying to like get ahead during the week, and that, just didn't work. And so although like I stumbled in the weekend, I mean, just doing stand-up comedy in general and being an entertainer, I work with a lot of entertainers that get done with the show, they get their paycheck and they leave and they're like, bye, I'm going home. And it always amazes me, because the after party to me is like almost the funnest part. I get almost as stoned on adrenaline from the after party as I do from being on stage and feeling that energy and everybody laughing and like watching faces light up and watching arms uncross. And so it blows my mind, but I kind of, I guess, see how that probably is a choice. Like, this is my choice. I'm leaving. I'm going home. Now, I was able to after party on Friday and overcome it and do a shot of water when I got called to stage for a shot, and nobody knew. And I was able to do it. Saturday, I was not. But what I overcame was, after a night of too much partying and drinking and fun and smoking cigarettes. God, those things are awful. Why do we do that? Ugh. I will lay around on the couch and I will nap. I will wake up, go to the refrigerator, eat a bunch of crap just to get tired again, to go back to the couch, to go back to sleep, to wake up, go back to the refrigerator, to eat enough to get tired, to go back. Like I will do that cycle for a day and a half after a blowout night. And that's what I overcame, because that was not an option this weekend. There is no freaking good carbohydrates in this house, first of all. If I wasn't going to eat a sweet potato, it wasn't happening. So I got up, I got myself moving, I did a workout, I ate some green beans, I had some chicken, and I was like healed. I felt great and it was awesome. So I was glad to overcome that. Now I just need to do the next step and overcome the rest. And I got this. I can do this. I got this.
So my most difficult thing that I faced this week was dealing with the judgment of a friend that I love and respect for her knowledge and experience in this industry. And it was all while being like this the whole week, you know, like we're separate rooms at night, but during the day, we're all on top of each other because we're in another country on the other side of the world and facing a lot of emotional things. So really interesting things come out. And I found myself hiding from the criticism and from her, you know, her, trying to keep her from being frustrated while also maintaining my position of leadership with this team. So this really weighed on me all week long. I've never had this level of, you know, pressure from another person about this. And it's not even her full intention. I know it. It's something going on with her, but I'm, you know, the history of hiding is there, and it really pulled that out. So, so the way that I dealt with that, first of all, was confrontation to get the air clear, because the tension, everybody was feeling it. The whole team was being affected by this. And so, you know, it was like a mutual confrontation. We knew we needed to talk. We're like, okay, let's get this out. Tell me what your problem is. And, you know, she was just like, well, you know, it makes me sad to see you measuring your food. And, you know, like the only thing you ever talk about is what you're doing here. And I was like, it's not the only thing that I'm talking about. It's what you're choosing to focus on. And so, you know, I had to really deal with that, and still, it's still a little bit there, but I knew that if I would just do it anyway, I'd just keep doing it anyway. It doesn't matter. So, but I'm still dealing with, like just yesterday, I was like, why do I keep forgetting to bring my containers? I'm like, Wendy's with me. Hey, do you have your containers? I don't have them. You know, what's the deal? And I think, you know, just last night, as I was thinking about this, I was like, I think that that's part of my subconscious saying, I don't want to do this in front of her. So I'm still dealing with it, but, you know, pushing through anyway.
Well, I think it's pretty easy to figure out what was the hardest thing for me this week, as most of you know, was realizing that the skinny person in the group is in the worst shape of everybody. Literally, the Jello legs were complaining thoughts at the beginning of the week, but when the spasm started in my back and I was laying on the floor, I mean, I had all intentions to push through everything. I mean, I was down on the floor stretching. It wasn't just because I was down on the floor in a puddle crying. You know, the workout was on the television. You know, I was ready to go and I was going to push through this, and that just kind of all went to a puddle. You know, and just realizing what a mess, what a royal mess I am. But, you know, I would have gone and hidden and just kind of, you know, not bothered to tell anybody or whatever, you know, told Karma because she was in charge and really not shared the whole thing, but I kind of just kept myself open. You know, I kept stretching and walking and doing as much as I could. And then just thinking that, you know, that was going to make it better. And then my leg to my ankle that I had surgery on swelled up, and I was like, okay, this has gotten out of control. So I had to talk to the surgeon's assistant and the other assistant this morning, and we have a call on Wednesday morning, and now they've pulled me back to nothing. That is, everything has to, like, there's no impact. So that was super disappointing. Yeah, but I kept going and I kept stretching, and I am 1,000% better than when I was laying in a puddle on the floor on Thursday. And I didn't let it stop me, and I still lost 2.6 pounds being skinny. So I counted a win.
So I think the hardest thing for me this week was the mindfulness of who I'm leaving, the person I'm leaving behind, and really being present in those moments. So examples of fixing the kids some bacon and toast for breakfast, I'm stealing the bacon. Fixing the kids macaroni and cheese, I'm stealing at least 3 scoops of mac and cheese. Purchasing the kids Chick-fil-A, typically I would get a sandwich, but if I didn't get a sandwich, I'm biting off of theirs and I'm stealing something, so I think for me, it was truly that mindfulness that really was the hardest. Today, I was, fixing for my cheat meal, which was a seafood boil, right? Exciting seafood boil. And I should have taken my shake to the grocery store with me because I was hungry. Stop fighting, just 1 minute, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. Please don't fight. I'm gonna kick you out, please, thank you. So when it comes to, so I'm at the grocery store and now I'm hungry because I had my blueberries, I planned it out. But I was so hungry, I wanted to buy stuff. And I just stopping myself in those moments, like, that's not who you are anymore, and I think that was the hardest thing, is figuring this new space of who I'm not, who I'm leaving, grieving for my mother-in-law, but there's also a grieving process for who this person was that I was very, very close to. And, in the grocery stores, we make up all kind of meals, but we're gonna eat together. It was like, oh yeah, it's it's a snow day. Do you need the French fries? I don't need the French fries. And so the other person's like, oh, you don't need the French fries because guess what? You prepped the whole week. I did. I'm prepped. I'm done. So it's like, I think that was the hardest part. I mean, for me, working out, I just love to do it. So now I have a group to do it with, which is fun for me. I cuss throughout the whole workout though. It's funny. I really cuss her out really, really bad, but she's 21 Day Fix lady. Is terrible. I love her though. But I mean, I think, and then I do the boot camp. So I do other things, but I think that's the hardest part, is leaving this person behind who has been, not the best person for me. Like even tonight in my cheat meal, I'm all excited. I got my little, we had a seafood boil. So we had crab, I had butter, it was great, right? But as I'm leaving her behind, I wouldn't be sneaking the butter. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm leaving her behind. And even in this cheat meal, I would have had a whole bottle of wine. I had a couple glasses of wine, but so I'm leaving that person behind. I'm like, well, I need my water to wash all this shit out. So changing those mindsets has been, and I think being present, because the other thing I did, and my husband, we laughed about this, he doesn't really drink. I drink. And so, I got the bottle of rosé out. I'm like, yeah, rosé all day, we're celebrating. And so I was like, you know what? I haven't drank this whole week. I used to drink a glass of wine every night or 2. And he was like, you really haven't drank the whole week. I was like, I know, right? Like, so I think it's those habits. It's leaving behind those habits. That's hard. It's good though. So what I've been doing is staying focused on my whys, right? So the whys of my ankles hurt when I'm at that weight, or just, you talked about the clothes today, and just I'm focused on those, shopping in my own closet, stuff that I haven't worn before, like this dress I haven't worn in a long time. My panties fitting, so I think that it's hard things that when you're focused on them, you know, but that's it. It's that mindfulness of leaving that person behind.
So we are coming into week 2. And as we come into week 2, it's literally taking, thoughts are going to come in. Temptations are going to come in. It's not about it's not about getting to a place where we never have a temptation to cheat or we never have a thought to cheat. But what it's about is literally running every decision, every thought, everything you do inside of a week, running it through. Does this line up with my goal? Does this line up with my vision of who I'm becoming? And if the answer is no, if these wings don't line up with who I'm becoming, no. And it really, if this unplanned cheat doesn't line up with who I'm becoming, no. So when you start, you know, it drives me up a freaking wall when people are like, oh, I'm dieting. No, I'm eating according to my goals. You are eating according to your goals. You are working out according to your goals. You are drinking water according to your goals. You are cutting out foods that got you to where you're at according to your goals. For the first time in most of our lives, we are prioritizing our vision, our goals, our health over other things and other people. Because for a lot of you, you've spent far too long prioritizing everybody else's needs, everybody else's goals, what everybody else wants from you, for you, or to do to you, or to have you do for them above your own happiness and your own health. And that stopped a week ago. And so with that sometimes comes some backlash. But you have to remember, nothing worth having comes easy. Don't ask for it to be easy. Ask for it to be worth it.